Hello and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. We are going to continue where we last time left off. So yeah. Sorry Edgeworth, I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about me. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, I guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You got a lot of nerves, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I seen happier people at funerals. I take it Lana having you run errands again? Let me tell you this. The last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you. There was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. You must know the two rules of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It seems so. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. She said if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him. I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Evidence doesn't look like that book do you any good now though. I'm gonna read it first. Rule for submitting evidence. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. What? All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me, Mr. Edgeworth? The real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Sky found out she unwittingly caused a man's death, and now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him. No matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. Court will now be reconvened for the trial of Mrs. Lana Sky. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. The inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your action. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness, but this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that your Mr. Edgeworth may have struck a bargain. You think I may manipulate the witness. I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call for a further witness. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Yeah, undeniably this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It will prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witness. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edwards has found a way to continue the trial. How good for him. He's a genius. Very well, the defense accepts the prosecutor's proposal. Then it's settled. The defense may now call for its next witness. Mr. Wright, do you realize this is your last chance? If you call the wrong witness, the trial is as good as over. The defense calls. The time's finally come. Bring out the real murderer. And we all know who that is, right? I'm not currently looking for no, I'm not looking at a guide because I'm scared. No, I'm not, I promise you. Yeah, of course it's Damon Gaunt. I thought they would give me something extremely hard. It's like, who do you want to call? Without any advice. And Damon Gaunt, the defense calls Damon Gaunt to the stand. Damon Gaunt? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gaunt has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. Alright, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gaunt to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gaunt. Fine. My name is Damon Gaunt. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gaunt, the court requests to hear your testimony. Alright, what's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. You mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons. Sure, take my testimony for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with a certain risk. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony. As I recall, Niall and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up that the power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? Oh, he was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Niall flying, it seems Dark bumped he bumped his head. I see, everything seems pretty clear cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I better hit him hard and fast. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. As I could recall, a ceremony was held at the police department. Yes, that's right, I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Niall was all fired up too. That probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that. Was the defendant Lana's guy also present in that room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. To make long story short, we slipped out and the power outage didn't make it easier. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first, so Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. What this about a power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not a shock as Neil was when that knife went into his heart though. That's not funny. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Could you tell us what you saw? I was shocked. It was a shocking sight. Neil and the serial killer were lying in a heap of the floor, all tangled together. Doc was lying collapsed on the floor. Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what she had done. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body, it had already been moved. So that means you found the body near Lana's desk? That's right. I think you said earlier it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. Anyway, as you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. So you're saying that forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your... That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt. But moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable, no matter what circumstance. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you better staring at the court records. Worthy, always a smooth talker. But a rich piece of evidence ties Gant to forgery. But that case is whole. Somehow I got to link Gant to the incident. Okay, okay, we are going to save here. Okay, first off we need to... What ties Gant to forgery? I would say this too. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery, but I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this list for example. That list of Emma Sky do her picture on. This was discovered in your desk. Not only that, but a piece of the jar that was sitting in your office. Was found inside your safe. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office were both concrete proof that all played a part in the illegal investigation. Chief Grant, what's the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may have even rivaled Worthy. So you admitted to it then, that you were involved in forgery. Who, me, or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with it? That? Well, you were in once, so snuck into my office when you found the evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorney can do so too. Isn't that right, Writer? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during that investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further and he'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, I'm light on the detectives. Well, in light of the detectives present, please give us a testimony regarding this piece of evidence found in your office and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer knowing how to put 2 and 2 together. Let's see what is it now. A jar, a fragment, a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they are worthless. There's no reason I participate in forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Oh. Indeed, I believe I will press charges so you won't make the same mistake again. My apology, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, Adji. I return though. I know. I place right, that place right. What are these guys? Telepathic? For all I know, you could have planted in my office. I appreciate it if you stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I have, you know, I'm back in the days of broken. Can't Mr. Right? Anyway, you can prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need to it later. What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking when white prints are found. Yes. If there is found inside my safe, they would prove this investigation was illegal. I never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were placed there. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course, but suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute to forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery, I'm not through speaking yet, right though. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. If they're found after Darks was convicted, then they're worthless. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all I know, it could have suddenly materialized the day of the after Dark sentence. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient, right? The chief is talking about possibilities, so long as you can't rule that out. Your remarks are clever, they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. No, come on, come now, Whiteo. Think about it. There's no reason I participate in forgery. How can you look at me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember, who was it that murdered Niall? I'm sure I care for I'm not sure I care for the word murder here, but in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see? Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Really, Chief Gaunt. At the very least, there is one very large benefit you repeating from all this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would of course be the position you have, Chief of Police. The resolution of SN9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. Oh, that's a good one. Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SN9 merely sped up the inevitability a little. Is that too, Edgeworth? Yes. He was going to be made chief anyway. Be careful when pointing that finger. I might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possibility motivating for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There. It's out in the open now. Algie, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone accomplished if there was nothing in it for me. Nothing in for you. Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you better think again. You're right, you don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself though. Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Give his selfishness. Point out. Two, you might not help anyone for their sake. But if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, I appear you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Very well then. Who is it that person you believe Chief Gaunt may have helped to forge evidence? Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye? The defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstance. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who wouldn't want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gaunt, he would also a reason to help Lana if she asks him to. The reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would they profit from all of this? He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh wait. You must mean puppet as is someone forced to do biddings, never mind. Admitted Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forgery of evidence. You appointed her as the chief prosecutor so you could control her. Right, oh my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this, that I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I done such a thing? Lana? She keeps quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she testified against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof that this all amounts to nothing more than conjecture. Unless that is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course I'm talking about Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Worthy, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Yes, what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gans is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? Order. I said order. Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in a law enforcement agency. To accuse a chief of police of blackmail and murder? That is impossible. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edwards said, easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back from us now. It looks like he's the one who decides to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? The chief, a high-ranking officer of this law, is involved in this murder. Good question. I should save. It would be benefiting me a lot. Good okay. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright got, and better be good. Show us the evidence that Chief Gant the murderer of Detective Goodman. ID to enter the evidence room on the... This is the ID call list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my ID card. It's your number. Huh? What? How do you know that? The safe of Chief Gant's office required a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digit? You don't mean? I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 777777. That's same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Order. Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense search of my office was in violation of regulations, and I would demand Mr. Wright to punish to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. What about it? I'm the chief of police, whenever it's the evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me. When you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Gummer wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would be? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him? In days? Chief Gant. I'm afraid you just undone yourself. On that day you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? The trial purpose is to determine Lana's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. The trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met with the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have you ask you for evidence. Show proof that the victim went to meet. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost items report. He would have had to give that to the chief of police. Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filled it. He filled it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to. Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. You accompanied him? There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. Chief of Police murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait, the chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card, yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done that, something of that sort. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the records on your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. And if you really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. No. Oh. Chief Gant, you didn't. The murder was most likely a spur of a moment crime. For no one in the right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contact Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose the detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright. The victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office, a parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? It was the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you take this dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so, Chief Gant. You left the evidence we needed to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was useless clue just taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us that evidence. To move the body of the victim, Chief Gant. Okay. To move the body, Chief Gant. Oh, there. This is how we move the Detective Goodman's body. What's that? A screwdriver? But what does that have to do with this case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is this screwdriver doing here? It's here because... I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. It told me he wanted to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbing, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to prosecutor's office, but you did because Chief Gant asked you to. You mean The body was found in the trunk of Edgeworth's car. To think, it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car? Yes, unless of course you will have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplished Mrs. Lana's guy. Order. What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense outrageous accusation? Think back to the photograph Mrs. Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This is not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It's exactly the opposite. It is a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gunn, please say something. I believe... Your time's up. My time's up. Sorry, writer, but I'm having lunch time with the district attorney general after this. We have to get going if we're gonna make time for the earlier bird special. But the course examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons as his weapons. Like the right to refuse to testify, I'm invoking that right now. What? That's not the right to be casually invoked. There's a certain risk to be considered. So you're going just to run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I'm Lana I think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gaunt is the current chief police. This court will not tolerate any accusation against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright, Your Honor, proof that Chief Gaunt murdered Detective Goodman and made Mrs. Sky disposed. Do I have any concrete proof? Present evidence. I can't let him just squirm his way out of this. I got to keep his pressure. Yes, Your Honor. I do have such evidence. Then please hurry and present it to the... Save? Not gonna... we do anything? Okay. I bet they'll prove Chief Gaunt murdered Ted Goodman beyond any shadow of a doubt. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. We don't have any proof. Shit, it doesn't matter. So what exactly the proof is as to whether or not it's demonstrated chief skill. So let I am the alright. Well, what do you think? I think, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to late. I guess I was. Please, Your Honor, give me just a little longer. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gaunt is the current chief of police. Sure. I'm going to. Well, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Do you have any concrete proof? I have no proof yet. I have no use for showing evidence to him. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence. See, Archie? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegation against the chief. Chief, what? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, right? So it seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Archie, I leave the rest to you. Bye bye. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an unfortunate senior officer in our nation, law enforcement agency. What? Lady Luck, maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edward, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth. Another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gaunt has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else, one more witness who can answer the question raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room, Mr. Edgeworth. Who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense has the one calling witness today. Mr. Wright, such a witness exists. I want to answer wrongly just to see how Edgeworth reacts, but she may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense called forth the defendant, Mrs. Lana Sky. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 on February 21. Her task to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone the order. Miss Edgeworth. The prosecutor has no objection, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take the final recess for the day. 15 minutes will be reconvene here at defense testimony. This court is now in hold on. Chief Gaunt! I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claim There will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty. For Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good. Of course, you never support such an outrageous claim anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I got a lunch date to meet. Yes, make a threat in the court. Middle of it. Okay, if there are any further objections, this court is now in recess. February 25, District Court, Defendant's Lobby. Look like we managed to stay in the game. You know what? I'm gonna quit here with Angry Href watching us. I hope you have a great day and all that. Yeah, it did not go as planned. Lucky. Have a great day. Hope you enjoyed what you're watching. Like, subscribe, comment something if you wish. And yes, have a nice day. Bye.